Think pennies are worthless? Some 1-cent coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. From rare double dies to off-center strikes, errors and high grades can make these coins extremely valuable. Always check your pennies because your spare change could be worth big money. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more coin secrets. The United States 1-cent penny from 1990 might look like the kind of coin that passes unnoticed every day. The kind of coin you'd find at the bottom of a drawer, tossed into a piggy bank, or rolling around in the pocket of an old pair of jeans. It has Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse, the words "I in God we trust" proudly at the top, liberty to the side, and the date 1990 stamped clearly beneath. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial still stands strong, with the tiniest detail of Lincoln's statue inside, framed by the words United States of America, 1 cent, and the national motto E pluribus unum. Billions of these coins were minted, and for most people, a penny like this is worth exactly 1 cent. Yet what many don't realize is that some of these 1990 pennies, under the right circumstances, can sell for prices that make jaws drop. We're talking about values ranging from $50,000 to as high as $130,000 for a single coin. How is that possible? How could something as common and ordinary as a penny be worth more than most cars or even a house? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and error varieties. Collectors are constantly searching for coins that stand out, coins that are different from the billions of others produced. In 1990, the U.S. Mint created an enormous number of Lincoln cents at both Philadelphia and Denver facilities. But within that massive production, a very small number of unusual coins slipped through. Some carried minting errors, while others were preserved so perfectly that their grade alone makes them almost priceless to collectors. One of the most famous examples is the 1990 No-S proof Lincoln cent proof coins are specially struck for collectors, often with polished dies and planchets, creating a coin with a mirror-like surface. They are not meant for circulation and are sold directly to collectors in proof sets. Normally, a 1990 proof cent struck at the San Francisco Mint would bear the S Mint mark. But a tiny handful were mistakenly struck without that mint mark, creating the 1990 No-S proof penny. This error is incredibly rare and highly sought after, with values reaching into the tens of thousands. High-grade examples of this coin have been auctioned for over $50,000, and in pristine condition with the right bidding war, they can command values up to $130,000. Beyond the No-S proof, there are other error varieties and anomalies that make the 1990 penny so fascinating. Double die varieties, where the design elements are doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process, can make a coin extremely desirable. Collectors search carefully for doubling in the date, in the lettering of Liberty or I in God we trust, or on the reverse in the details of the Lincoln Memorial. Even a slight doubling, if verified and graded, can dramatically increase the coin's value. Then there are off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, or coins with dramatic die breaks or cuts. Each of these errors adds to the uniqueness of the coin and to its market value. But condition is just as important as rarity. Grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin showing no flaws even under magnification. A 1990 penny that survived the past 3 decades without scratches, wear, or contact marks is a rare find. Most pennies are used heavily, tossed in change jars, or left to corrode. But when a collector stumbles upon a 1990 cent graded at MS68 or higher, it becomes a showpiece. That's where the value skyrockets into the tens of thousands, and when combined with an error, it easily reaches that $50,000 to $130,000 range. What makes this story even more exciting is that these coins are still out there. Unlike coins from the 1800s, where the chances of finding one in circulation today are almost non-existent, the 1990 penny is modern enough that you could still stumble across one. There are countless stories of people who found valuable coins in rolls purchased from the bank, in pocket change, or in coin jars saved over the years. Imagine the shock of sending in a coin for grading, expecting it to be worth a few dollars, and learning that it's worth tens of thousands. That possibility is what keeps collectors hunting and what makes coins like the 1990 penny so thrilling. The year 1990 also represents a fascinating point in the history of U.S. coinage. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 80 years at that point, first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1990, it had become one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, with only small modifications over the years. Collectors appreciate coins from this era because they bridge the traditional Lincoln Memorial design, which had been in use since 1959, with the later changes that would eventually replace it in 2009 with the Lincoln Bicentennial Cents. Owning a rare or valuable 1990 penny feels like holding onto a piece of that legacy. Auction houses have repeatedly highlighted the 1990 penny as a star performer among modern coins. When a high-grade example or a rare error crosses the block, it tends to draw heavy bidding, often exceeding pre-auction estimates. Collectors see it not only as a rare treasure but also as an investment. Rare coins like this tend to appreciate over time, as more people become interested in numismatics and as pristine examples become harder to find. A coin bought today for $50,000 could easily be worth much more a decade from now, especially if demand for Lincoln cents continues to grow. The beauty of this coin story is that it shows how even the smallest denomination in American currency can carry extraordinary value. A penny, the coin often dismissed or left behind in tip jars, can in fact be worth more than gold under the right circumstances. That contrast between its face value and its collector value is what makes the 1990 penny so intriguing. Collectors know that not every 1990 penny will be valuable. The vast majority are worth only a cent. But it's that 1 in a million chance, the possibility that the coin you're holding might be a rare no-S proof or a high-grade double die, that keeps people searching. Every coin roll opened, every jar sorted, every pocket change examined carries the hope of finding that elusive treasure. And when someone does, the reward can be life-changing, with auction values soaring into the $50,000 to $130,000 range. For anyone holding on to 1990 pennies, the best advice is to check them carefully. Look at the mint mark. Inspect the details under magnification for doubling. Notice if the strike looks unusual or if something seems off about the design. If the coin looks pristine, consider sending it in for grading. It might just turn out to be one of the rare examples that collectors will pay a fortune to own. Ultimately, the 1990 Lincoln penny tells us something profound about numismatics and about value itself. It's not always about the material the coin is made from. After all, these modern pennies are mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. It's about rarity, history, and the story behind the coin. And when those factors come together, a simple cent can become a prize worth $50,000 to $130,000. So the next time you come across a 1990 penny, don't shrug it off as just another coin. Take a closer look, because hidden in plain sight, within this small piece of copper-plated zinc, could be a treasure that rivals the value of luxury cars, fine jewelry, or even real estate. That's the incredible reality of the 1991 cent penny, a coin that proves even the smallest denomination can carry the weight of history, the thrill of discovery, and the potential for life-changing value. The 1995 1-cent penny is one of those coins that most people would easily overlook. To the average eye, it looks like just another Lincoln cent, copper-plated, familiar, and ordinary. But in the world of numismatics, where rarity, condition, and errors transform everyday change into treasures, the 1995 penny has earned its place in the spotlight. What's truly astonishing is that some of these coins, under the right conditions and in rare varieties, have sold at jaw-dropping prices, ranging from $47,000 to as much as $122,000. Imagine finding what looks like a common cent in a change jar or an old coffee can, only to realize that it could be worth more than a luxury car or even a year's college tuition. That's the hidden magic of the 1995 penny. The Lincoln Cent series has a long and proud history, beginning in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin immediately captured the admiration of the American public. By 1959, the reverse design shifted from the iconic wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, a design that stayed on the coin until 2008. The 1995 penny belongs to this Lincoln Memorial era, and though billions were minted that year, only a fraction carry the features and conditions that turn them into treasures. For collectors, that year is especially remembered because of the famous 1995 double-die obverse variety, a striking error that dramatically increased interest in these pennies. To understand why the 1995 penny can be worth tens of thousands, it's important to look at the minting process. At the US Mint, where billions of coins are struck every year, even the slightest mishap can result in varieties or errors that collectors crave. A double die obverse, for example, occurs when the hubbing process leaves the design impressed more than once at slightly different angles. For the 1995 penny, this error became legendary, particularly because it's visible to the naked eye. On many examples, the doubling is clearly seen on the word liberty and on the motto, "In God We Trust." The dramatic nature of this doubling made the coin an instant hit with collectors when it was first discovered, and demand has stayed strong ever since. Even outside of the double die variety, condition plays a massive role in the coin's value. Pennies are notoriously difficult to keep in pristine shape, and being the lowest denomination, they circulate heavily, getting nicked, scratched, and worn down quickly. But when a 1995 penny survives in flawless condition, graded at MS68 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, it becomes a rarity in itself. Collectors who chase registry sets are always hunting for the highest graded examples, and when one appears, the bidding competition can get fierce. This is how a seemingly ordinary cent transforms into one worth anywhere between $47,000 and $122,000. Stories of such coins making their way into the hands of collectors add to the allure. One particularly fascinating account involves a man who found a 1995 penny while sorting through his late father's collection of loose change. At first, it didn't seem like much, just another Lincoln Memorial cent. But under closer inspection, he noticed unusual doubling in the lettering. Excited, he sent it off for grading, and when it came back as a high-grade 1995 double die obverse, the news was electrifying. Auction houses quickly took notice, and when the coin hit the block, bidding soared. By the time the gavel fell, the penny had achieved a price deep within that astonishing $47,000 to $122,000 range. A single cent, once tossed aside in everyday commerce, had become a life-changing find. This kind of story is what fuels the passion of coin collectors and even casual hobbyists. The idea that something as small and overlooked as a penny could harbor such immense value inspires people to look closer at their change, to study mint marks, dates, and tiny details. The 1995 penny, especially the double die obverse, represents the thrill of discovery. It's proof that history and value can hide in plain sight, waiting only for someone observant enough to notice. The design itself adds another layer of interest. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait is bold and timeless, symbolizing one of the most important figures in American history. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design captures the solemnity of the monument in Washington, D.C., even including the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. Collectors often appreciate these artistic elements as much as the rarity factors, especially since the 1995 penny was struck during the final decades before the design would change again. This sense of nostalgia adds value for those who grew up using these coins daily. At auction, the excitement surrounding a rare 1995 penny is palpable. Bidders know they are competing for something extraordinary, and the tension rises quickly as numbers climb. The idea that a coin worth 1 cent at the cashier can be elevated to tens of thousands of dollars in a competitive auction hall is both surreal and thrilling. People watching from the sidelines often gasp as the bids skyrocket, realizing just how far collectors will go to secure such a rare piece. But beyond the money, owning a 1995 penny of this caliber is about pride and history. It connects the collector not only to the U.S. Mint's legacy, but also to a moment when an error slipped through the cracks and created something unforgettable. Every detail on the coin tells a story. The bold doubling on the obverse, the sharpness of the strike, the brilliance of the luster. To its owner, it's not just metal. It's a piece of American culture, a testament to the idea that even mistakes can lead to beauty and value. The fascination with the 1995 penny also extends to new generations of collectors. Young hobbyists learning about coins for the first time are often drawn to the excitement of errors and varieties. The double die obverse becomes a teaching tool, sparking curiosity about how coins are made and why certain mistakes become so valuable. This keeps the legacy of the 1995 penny alive, ensuring that it continues to inspire and captivate long after it left the mint presses. What's most engaging about coins like the 1995 penny is that they blur the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or rarities from centuries past, these pennies are modern. Many people alive today remember using them regularly, dropping them into piggy banks, or counting them out at the grocery store. The idea that one of those familiar cents could be worth $122,000 is astonishing. It brings the world of treasure hunting into everyday life, reminding us that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding right in front of us. For collectors, the hunt is everything. Every jar of pennies, every roll from the bank carries the possibility of discovering something rare. And for the lucky few who stumble upon a gem, the reward can be extraordinary. The 1995 penny proves that you don't need gold or silver to uncover a fortune. Sometimes, it's the smallest denomination, the humblest coin, that holds the greatest surprise. So the next time you come across a 1995 penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Take a closer look. Examine the lettering, the condition, the details that most people overlook. Because hidden within its copper-plated surface could be a treasure worth anywhere from $47,000 to $122,000. That one coin could be the difference between spare change and life-changing wealth. And that's the beauty of numismatics, the adventure, the mystery, and the chance that your next penny might just be priceless. The US 2001 cent penny may not seem like much at first glance. Most people have seen thousands of them and probably passed them off without thinking twice. It's one of those coins that feels too common, too modern, and too ordinary to be of any real importance. Yet buried within that mass of copper-plated zinc coins is a secret. A small number of these pennies from the year 2000 hold an astonishing value, with prices at auctions ranging from $43,000 to as much as $120,000. That's right, a coin you could easily overlook in your change jar could be worth more than the cost of a new luxury car, more than many people's annual salary, and in some cases, even more than a down payment on a house. The Lincoln Cent series, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, is one of the most collected and studied coin series in U.S. history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny featuring Lincoln's bust on the obverse became instantly popular with collectors and the general public alike. Over the decades, the coin went through changes, from the wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959, and eventually to the Union Shield design in 2010. But in the year 2000, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in place, a design familiar to every American who had ever held a cent. That's part of what makes the 2000 penny so fascinating. It looks so normal, so everyday, and yet, under the right circumstances, it transforms into a true rarity. So what makes a 2000 penny worth tens of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in two main factors: condition and rarity through errors or special striking varieties. When it comes to condition, pennies are notoriously difficult to preserve in high grades. Being the lowest denomination, they're often tossed around carelessly, scraped against other coins, or worn down in circulation. Very few survive in pristine, gem-quality states. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins on a 70-point scale, and finding a 2000 penny graded MS68 or higher is nearly unheard of. It's the scarcity of top-graded coins that pushes values into the extraordinary range. Collectors chasing population reports will bid aggressively when such an example appears, knowing that only a handful exist in that condition. Then there are error coins. Even in the modern minting era, errors occur, and when they do, they can produce coins unlike any others. A double die obverse, an off-center strike, or a misaligned die can turn an ordinary 2000 penny into a rare collectible. These errors are not only scarce but also highly sought after by specialists who love the quirks and anomalies of coinage. For the 2000 penny, certain dramatic errors have crossed auction blocks, and because of their uniqueness, their value skyrocketed. Combine a rare error with exceptional condition, and suddenly that penny becomes a five-figure treasure. One collector's story stands out as a perfect example of the hidden wealth within these coins. A coin roll hunter, the kind of enthusiast who spends evenings sorting through rolls of pennies from the bank, stumbled upon a 2000 penny that appeared unusually sharp and flawless. Suspecting it might be something special, they sent it off for grading. When it returned with a designation of MS-69, nearly perfect, the collector was stunned. Word spread quickly in the numismatic community, and when the coin went up for auction, it became the subject of heated bidding. The final hammer price landed deep in that $43,000 to $120,000 range, leaving the collector speechless. That story lit a fire in other collectors, encouraging them to look more closely at their 2,000 pennies. The design itself also carries its own nostalgic weight. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been in use since 1959, represents a distinct era in American coinage. For many people, pennies of the late 20th and early 21st century were part of daily life. Used in vending machines, counted in allowance jars, or tucked into coin purses. The 2000 penny marked the beginning of the last decade before the design changed to the Union Shield in 2010, making it historically significant as part of the closing chapter of the Lincoln Memorial era. Collectors often seek out these transitional points in coinage history, and high-value examples from this period carry even greater meaning. Auction houses have witnessed the incredible impact of these coins firsthand. When a rare 2000 penny shows up on the auction block, it's never a quiet affair. Collectors know how scarce these high-grade or error varieties are, and they're willing to go to great lengths to secure them. The bidding often starts with confidence, but as the numbers climb higher, tension fills the room. Everyone knows they're watching history in the making. The difference between $40,000 and $100,000 can be decided in a matter of seconds as determined collectors refuse to back down. And for spectators, there's something magical about watching an ordinary penny, something so familiar, command such extraordinary sums. But what makes this even more intriguing is that coins like the 2000 penny blur the lines between the everyday and the exceptional. Unlike ancient coins or those from centuries ago, which everyone expects to be rare, the 2000 penny is something modern, something people alive today used in their pockets. The idea that you could find a coin minted just a couple of decades ago and have it turn out to be worth $120,000 is enough to spark anyone's imagination. It's this possibility, the dream of discovery, that fuels so much passion in the hobby of coin collecting. Even new collectors and casual hobbyists are drawn into the story of the 2000 penny. For them, it's not just about value but about the thrill of knowing that something special might be hiding in plain sight. They begin checking their change more closely, learning about mint marks, grading standards, and error types. In this way, the 2000 penny acts almost like a gateway coin, pulling more people into the fascinating world of numismatics. For those who own one of these rare specimens, the value isn't only in the money. It's also in the story, the pride of holding a coin that defied the odds. Every scratch-free surface, every sharp strike, and every unique anomaly tells a story of survival, rarity, and significance. It connects its owner to the broader history of the U.S. Mint, to the millions of coins struck that year, and to the tiny fraction that became legends in the collecting world. Collectors often say the thrill of numismatics lies in the hunt, and the 2000 penny is proof of that. Every roll searched, every jar of change examined carries the possibility of uncovering something truly extraordinary. And with values ranging from $43,000 to $120,000, the stakes are about as high as they come for modern coinage. These coins show us that the journey isn't limited to ancient rarities or coins from the 1800s. The treasure could be sitting right in today's pocket change, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice. The legacy of the 2001-cent penny will only continue to grow as stories spread and new discoveries are made. Collectors who find one know they've uncovered not just a piece of metal but a piece of history, a symbol of rarity in a world that often overlooks the small things. And for everyone else, it's a powerful reminder. Never underestimate the value of the coins in your pocket. Sometimes, the most ordinary-looking penny turns out to be worth more than you could ever imagine, so the next time you come across a 2000 penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Look closer. Check its condition. Study its details. Because within its copper-plated surface might lie a fortune. A coin capable of reaching auction prices between $43,000 and $120,000. That single penny could be the one that changes everything.